Okay, hi. It's time to learn something totally new. Um, I'm just gonna jump right in. I don't know who's watching, and as people join, whatever they need, but feel free to ask me questions about like, who am I? What am I doing? Um, I don't know. I'm pretty easy to find online. Like my handle is either this Helen Hou-Sandi or just Helen in most places. So I feel like it's relatively easy to find me online. But yeah, if you have questions or anything you want to talk about, hit me up in chat. Thanks for the follow. I also saw somebody the other day talking about how they're used to like the pace of game streams. So I don't watch game streams, but I imagine that watching me do this, especially today, is going to be like watching somebody go through like all the tutorial levels in a game or something. So we have this full site editing feature being proposed for WordPress. And we have a go, no-go demo is what we're calling it. But essentially a meeting where a handful of people who are representing various like stakeholders, interest groups, whatever you want to call it, in the WordPress community at large, kind of get together to take a look at it and, decide, is this something that we could potentially go with, or should we give it another week and see how it is, or should we say, no, we're not going to try to ship it in this next release, which is slated for like July, I think. So part of that for me is that I'm a core developer, so I'm a core lead developer. So there's the perspective of like, what does this mean to ship in the core software? But also like I work at an agency, so I got to think about what does this mean for the custom developer world, or the extender community, I think is what they've called it, because I also work on a lot of plugins. So that's what's on my mind today. I'm gonna take a look at what does it mean to make a block-based theme, which I have absolutely no knowledge of. I have no idea how this works. I have this tab open, but have not even scrolled down it yet. Thanks for hosting. Hope people find this informative. I streamed on Tuesday about just using full site editing, which is this. I guess I could show what full site editing is first. Hopefully it loads up faster. Yeah, it's going a lot faster today. So like I've updated my Mac OS and rebooted my computer and rebooted Firefox, and so hopefully everything loads up faster. But this is a full site editor, so getting into this world of editing everything that's on your site, not just the content area. So historically, like this thing would be the content area. Well, let me show a shorter one. Historically, this would be the content area, right? Like post title and then like post content. But now expanding into things like your header, menus, footer widget, that kind of stuff. So it's pretty chill. So there are a bunch of things. Oh, thank you. You enjoy my tweets. I always apologize to people about my tweets because I feel like they're kind of wild. But actually, my tweets are also tamer than who I am in real life. Like a lot of people make jokes about, oh, like I tweet wild, but in real life I'm really like much more low key or more shy or whatever. But my tweets are actually like much less intense than I am in real life. In real life, I'm aware that I'm an extremely intense person. I think that I'm funny and like personable and stuff, but like I am very intense and aggressive, and I know it. So my tweets are like, I don't know, I feel like they're relatively tame still, but yeah, I just try to be like a whole person, right? Like multifaceted person. I was just talking to somebody about how like there's some stuff going on where people are talking about something that frankly doesn't deserve any air. So I'm not even going to mention what it is. You can figure it out. But, there's been a bunch of chatter about something where it kind of feels like, don't we have other things that we can talk about or think about? Like, I don't know. Let's get some hobbies. So that's just me. I try to be a well-rounded person, and I don't talk about WordPress in my free time. The stream is basically just like what I would be doing for work this afternoon. So yeah. Okay, so here's my thought. A lot of testing calls for full site editing have been around like, I think this most recent one was use a full site editor to create a restaurant style, like a header for a restaurant website. Hi, Timothy. I think that's cool. I think that's a really great way to get to know, like, how do you insert stuff? How do I think about like what I want to put where? And have like sort of like a theme for the kind of content to put in there instead of just doing what I do, which is type stupid stuff like I'm also really cool, just like my site. So I thought it was a really great prompt, but I have this, it is I don't know. We always talk about like strong opinions loosely held. I don't know how loosely held my opinion is. This might qualify as like a relatively strongly held opinion on my part, but I think that the conversation around full site editing tends to be, oh no, is Gutenberg going to put page builders out of business? Is Gutenberg a page builder? And I think that it can be. I think that it can be the basis for one. But I actually think that is not the majority best experience. And I think that most people like to use a page builder, even when they like provide patterns and that kind of stuff. A page builder kind of assumes that like you have this vision, right, in your head about what you want a website to look like, and you're building up from scratch, to meet that vision. And I think that for the vast majority of people, this is not how they think about things. I think that the extender community that I represent probably thinks more along those lines. But I think that, like, if I were to, I don't know, like, I'll just use my sister, I guess, my grown sister, who works in, I don't know what to call it, accounting, essentially. So, like, what if I were to give her the keys to a website, right? Like, or if she asked me, hey, hey, sister, like, what should I do for a website? Would I just, like, tell her to use a page builder? No. Right? Like, I don't think that she would have, like, super strong opinions about, like, every single piece of a site and how it's laid out and, like, how many columns it has and, whatever. So what I think is like the reality for most people and the direction of themes, which I've been talking about for years, is that I think that themes actually need to become more strongly opinionated. So right now themes try to do everything for everybody, right? Like every theme tries to be like general purpose, a million options so that, it could be a news site or it could be a coffee shop website, right? And it's like, people still have to invest a ton of imagination into choosing a theme, right? And to me, themes need to become much more tightly defined, where it's, a smaller thing, like less complex than they currently are, and they have to be. That's not the fault of theme authors by any means. I hope nobody hears it that way, but like removing the complexity that themes currently kind of have to have, and pushing it in a direction where themes are much smaller, much easier to maintain, and they target something very specific, and they represent something that can be very, very close to what a user wants to see. And so a big part of this is like good demos, right? That was something that was ancillary to the WordPress 5.6 release, where I was tech lead, was getting .org theme previews working better with starter content. Whether starter content relates to this or not, I don't even know right now. But we need to get to this place where people can search for whatever it is that helps them conceptualize, like how they're conceptualizing their sites, right? So like one person might be like, I want to make a coffee shop website. One person might be like, I want a site that's orange with a big header. Somebody else might be like, I want a site that shows off products in a artsy kind of way, right? So like, how do people find these things, right? How do people conceptualize what they're looking for? Hi. So how do people think about what they're looking for? What kind of searches do people run? Can we get some data about like what people have been searching for historically on the theme directory? So how do people search for stuff? How do people like want to, do faceting, which is like selecting filters, right? Versus like plain text searching, all that kind of stuff. And so how can we how can we kind of gather that knowledge rather than just relying on like my instinct, and take that and give theme authors the space to make themes that can be found, right? And not only found, but then demoed in a way where users can much more easily and instantly understand, yes, this meets what I need. This gets me very, very close to what I want to launch. And then full site editing really becomes the ability to kind of tweak those things. Just like you have very strong defaults, very strong opinions on the theme front. And then the full site editor is really about giving people the space to tweak small things as they want to, or bigger things if they want to, or provide a base for page builders or whatever, right? The feature itself can cover many, many different use cases, but the use case of the default state and shipped block-based themes, I think, should be very narrowly defined, very opinionated, highly designed, all of that. So that's my premise. I could very well be wrong. So that's this is a very strong conviction of mine, or rather it's a strong opinion, but I am perfectly happy to be proven wrong too, right? So that's where it's like maybe sort of loosely held. So that's what I'm thinking about. So that's going to be the premise of what I'm going to try to build today. I'm not going to, get lost trying to style it exactly the way that I want to, but I'm going to start from the premise of like, I want to make a theme that is targeting a very specific audience, doing something relatively specific where it's already very opinionated, and the most people might want to do is, maybe tweak a little spacing here or there, or like hide the author byline on the blog and like set up a menu and some footer widgets and whatever, right? But like they may not actually want to change the layout a whole lot. They just might want to change the bits and pieces within the layout. So that's going to be my premise for learning how to make a block-based theme. The other part of learning how to do this is exploring what it's like for theme developers, because there are many different types of theme developers. There are people who develop distributed, like publicly available themes. I am not one of those people. So huge props to people who are, because there's so much that goes into that. But also the people who do custom development, which is frequently also themes. So yeah. Hello. These are awesome emotes. And I love that I have my emote wall and they're just bouncing everywhere now. So that's awesome. And thanks for following. I'm going to assume Jason, that's you. So yeah, let's learn this. I again, like I said, now I'm a shark. I have literally not looked at this at all. So yeah, can I steal these emotes for like my my Slack? That's not right. It's not how it works. Oops. Now I've opened a window and I don't know how to close it. Okay. Good. Follow Dr. Mikachu. What a fun name. Dr. Mikachu. Alright. I also have Slack open, but I keep getting distracted by it. Alright. What is this tutorial? The purpose of this tutorial is to show how to create a block-based theme and help theme developers transition to full site editing. Required files, how to combine templates and template parts, presets, blocks, export the templates. Okay. This tutorial is up to date as of Gutenberg version 9.1, but what's the current Gutenberg version? Gutenberg is now 10.3.2. That's quite a few versions. All right, let's see what happens. I have to have Gutenberg installed. Full site editing must be enabled. Check. Block-based theme is using HTML templates and template parts. Each template or template part contains the block grammar. Okay. Required files and file structure. Oh yeah, I should do that, huh? I should like actually make something. Hello. Am I boss lady today? Posted a photo of myself yesterday where I was like leaning back. I don't do that in like external calls like with clients and stuff. But I was just on a one-on-one with somebody and like kind of leaned back and was like, oh, I look like I'm threatening you. Okay, so I need to make a directory, I guess. So let's switch over to my, whoa, 1 second. That was not right. Well, I guess you're just gonna see my mod view for a second. This is my mod view, I don't know. I need to change this so it's actually the right window. That's what I did not check before starting. Okay. And then my editor window. Aggravating. Okay, there we go. Much better. So we have, oh, of course, naturally, I don't have these matching, so it's like all weird. Sorry. All the things that I should have done like a professional. I don't know. Why are these like not in the same place? Oh. Sorry, the replay for this is going to be very, very jumpy. Okay, close enough. So I need to make a directory. What directory am I currently in? Root. So I need to go to source, WP content, themes, right? Okay, so I'm going to make a directory called HHS BBT, block-based theme. Sure. I don't know, I'm very dry. Okay, so then I'm gonna open that directory in a new window, and now I'm gonna have to switch this. Nope. Okay. So now we're in this window, and it's telling me in my theme I need to have style, functions, index, experimental theme, block templates, block template parts. Okay. Okay. So first I need to create a block templates directory and a block template parts directory. Oh, wrong. Not inside that one. Block template parts. Okay, and then I need a new file called style.css. And then all the things that I need. I'm just gonna copy that whole section over. Okay, theme name. So I can actually. I'll just fill this stuff out so I can see it in the end, I guess. Description. I am learning how to make a block-based theme, aka BT. Tags. Blocks. Requires at least, tested up to. Oh, so like I would put 5.8 and it requires at least 5.7 or something. Requires PHP 7. I don't write anything that's just PHP 7. Okay. Text domain. Just do everything correctly. I'm gonna delete this. Okay. So there's my style.css. And then I have to create a functions.php. Okay, so I guess I'm just gonna copy all this stuff and edit it. So you file functions. .php, paste all the stuff inside, and then what do I need to do? Okay, so various themes. Okay, I'm like not worried about this. So function. Okay, so we're just turning on a bunch of stuff. Fine, whatever. I don't need the end if, and then, oh. Well, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna use anonymous functions because I don't care. So then I don't even need to name it. Okay. So that's what I'm gonna do there. There's a lot of janky white space. Be the rebel I wish to see in the world. Well, you know what? There's no reason why you can't do that in your own stuff. Just because WordPress has a minimum PHP version doesn't mean you can't do whatever you want, so long as you don't fatally use your site. I'm going to convert everything to tabs, see if it does it correctly. Looks like it's okay. Yeah, and stuff like this, where like you have array. Let's be real rebels and let's make these short array syntax. Ooh, being bad. Okay. It's also just easier for me to see like what's an array versus like a function call. Okay, and then in queuing the theme scripts and styles. Again, I'm just gonna go with an anonymous function. Okay, cool. So I've made my functions. What's next? I need an index.php. I can leave the file empty for this tutorial. Okay. Creating the templates and template parts. Create two template parts called footer.html and header.html. Place them inside block template parts. Okay. So here we want footer.html and header.html. Inside block templates, create an index.html. In index.html, include the template parts by adding these. Okay. Okay. I also have trailing new lines. Does anybody else like that? Okay, experimental theme. So is it still experimental theme? Oh, I guess so. All right, we'll do it. Oops. So we're gonna add these to experimental theme. New file. Experimental theme. Okay, so that's kind of wacky. So I just noticed this. There's a palette being defined here, but this was also defined here. So, oh. Why do I have to define it twice? Kind of weird. Oh, brother. I'm very confused. Why do I have to define it in both places? Okay, so this code generates the following variables. I assume this means CSS variables. Add this code inside the globals after the presets. What does that mean? Wow, okay. Oh, here it's showing it. I think I know what it means, but I don't want to get it wrong. But it doesn't show that one in here. Styles, color. I don't see that in here. Add the code inside the globals after the presets. Okay. So we have global. So that's this brace. So I guess it's supposed to go after here. Okay. I feel like that part of the tutorial is a little weird. Because, like, if I wasn't very good at JSON, I may be like, well, maybe I'm not very good at JSON, I don't know. But, like, if I really had no knowledge of JSON, I'd be like, what does that even mean? And it's not in the, like, complete thing down here. Alright. So we have block styles. It says these go outside of global, so that was this pink brace. Fortunately, I can see the colors, so they go outside of there, and then we want to copy the rest of the core paragraph and core group. Okay, sure. So yeah, like it has this example with the things combined, but it doesn't have that, the styles one. So that's a little weird. Feedback. All right, adding blocks to my theme. Oh my gosh. Okay. They're calling it the block grammar. I don't know how to feel about that. How do you all feel about calling it the block grammar? The HTML for the selected blocks. Thanks for following too. I don't know. Now I'm gonna have like Nelly stuck in my head. Although today is DMX day, by the way. You should be listening to DMX. If it weren't for copyright strikes, we would be listening to DMX. Anyway, there's more than one way to add blocks to theme files. Adding and editing blocks in the site editor and exporting the theme. Adding block HTML and comments to the HTML files manually. Okay, I was wondering about that. So working with blocks and templates in the site editor. Okay. So the site editor, if you build something from scratch, ends up being something that you can use as a theme author to set up a layout. So that's pretty cool. That makes sense. Oh yeah, these screenshots are like super out of date, right? Because I don't have those menus. I have this thing. Somebody mentioned that they were surprised that I didn't use this, but like that's very handy, but like I absolutely do not think about my website as like an outline. Like my website layout as an outline. I think of my website content as an outline. I don't know. I don't know if that makes me weird or normal. I hear it makes me very normal. I hear some people are like, you're not a normal user. Of course, I'm not a normal like user overall, but like when I'm actually using software, like I think that I'm very normal. Like I just struggle with stuff and break things and cuss at things, you know, like a normal person. Okay. Okay, so that's like super not what this looks like anymore. And it shows a list of templates and template parts. Template parts can be selected and edited directly. So you can save those things. So you can export from the tools menu. Okay, so this navigation is here now, by the way. So like, I could go to like the header. So you go to my dashboard, it's like that. I don't know, that's gonna have to be a learned thing. Tools export. Templates, template parts. Is that what it means? Save templates and template parts can be exported as a partial theme from the tools menu in the site editor. Oh, it's tools in the site editor. Where are tools in the site editor? What does that mean? Shit, how do I close this? By clicking here? Okay. But like if I click over here, it doesn't close it? That's confusing. Where are tools? Are they in here? Okay, here. Export. Got it. Okay. I don't know. So what happens if like I switch to my new theme now? Can live preview and it doesn't do shit, right? What happens if I activate it? Let's just see. So if I activate this and then I go to the site editor. Okay, so yeah, so then the site editor is like totally empty and I can just start making stuff apparently. Okay. Cool. So let's try this. So I'm just gonna pull up this is the ensemble of people that I know. Including my spouse. I guess that's the disclaimer you need. Okay, so I really like their site actually. Like I really like the design and I like some of these elements that they have that I think are pretty cool. Oh my gosh. I don't like the way events works though. Hang on. Yeah, you can't. Okay, so that does not actually work the way that I want it to. This gives you little pop-ups. That's cute. Yeah, see, clarinet. Okay, so they have like these listen things. These are cute icons. So they have this sort of thing going on. Like, can you even replicate this in Gutenberg? I don't know. I think it's pretty cool looking though. So this is a one pager too. That's the other thing. So there's like a photo gallery and like all that stuff. So I feel like for this theme, again, I think that you get super opinionated and you set all this stuff like by default. And you kind of insert, maybe have all these blocks, right? Like you have all these blocks on the index to start. And then what happens is people can then tinker with like, you know, what is this section title? And then, you know, they can change the color to something else within the palette, all of that. So I think that's what I want to recreate. So I'm going to start by creating the header area. So I guess the header area has, I feel like I need to keep this open in another window. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull it out, which means that you're not going to be able to see it anymore. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to pull this out and bring it over to the side. So we're going to try to recreate this. So the first thing we need is a big ass image. What do they call this? Like a cover? Yeah, of course. Okay, so I need to like grab some kind of image. Where do I get like CC0 images? Pexel? Creative Commons, CC0. Search for CC images. Maybe not. This is like too much effort from me right now. Okay. So let's just pick some random stuff. I don't know. How does Pexels work? Oh, I have to like save this stuff. Okay, I don't know. So I guess like I kind of have to make my site look some kind of way. Okay. So I'm gonna drag and drop that in there, right? And then what I really want here is like, well, whatever. A logo could go here. I'm just gonna type that to myself for now. Okay, and then the next thing I want. What? Uh-oh. Does somebody want to clip that? I don't know what I did. I didn't do anything. What is Timothy linking? Aha. Okay, yeah, cool. So they do have Pexels here. Oh, this is cool. Smithsonian Open Access. Nice. Things not to use. Cool. Thanks for the subscription. Full disclosure, I will probably use some subscription money someday when Twitch actually decides to pay out. I'll probably use some of it to pay for this Epidemic Sound subscription, but the majority of it is gonna go toward donations. Because at the end of the day, I'm just streaming my job. Maybe I'll pay for somebody to come run an Ethernet cable through my actual cable run, so I don't just have a wire hanging out in the hallway. Never apologize for the caps. I love all caps. And I love all caps with like the letters spaced out, even though it's super not accessible. No, we don't need valid JSON responses. No, but seriously, like what the hell happened here? It's in my media library. Okay. I mean, whatever. Okay, and then the next thing I need is like a navigation horizontal. Okay. I don't actually need to put anything in it though, right? Because like the idea is that like you make it happen. Yeah. Okay, we're just gonna leave it that way. So that's what's in the header. Honestly, like this site doesn't even truly need a header. But that's okay. And then another thing I need is like it has like a little photo credit thing, and I feel like that's really important. So how would I do that? I would add like little text or something. What does a cover have? A cover just has this? Oh, and I can like group this stuff, right? I don't really need to. I can just style it so this is like inside. How do I like... Okay, so photo credit. Okay. So for this, like, block advanced. So you can make like additional CSS classes. So this would be photo credit or something. Let's just do it. Let's just see. And I want the font size to be like small. I don't know. Is that how this works? Okay, so if I add a block here, that's in the footer now. Okay. Oh, I see. So this is really like if I was a theme author, then I might actually use these. Now I see what people mean. So the thing this says paragraph. I kind of wish that you could give the paragraph like a name. The real villain is some caps. Yeah, the sarcastic mocking caps. I also love those. Whatever. Those are my punk tweets. My I'm being a jerk tweets. My tweets are all just me being a jerk about things. Okay. So yeah, I kind of wish that like on the theme level, I don't know if you can do this. Maybe you can. But like when I look at a view like this, I kind of wish that like it can say paragraph and that's fine. But then you could have like a little parens that's like photo credit. So inside cover, you can only have the paragraph. Oh shit. You can like, wait, what? Is that real? You can do that inside a cover? You can just like do whatever you want? So if I did this and I was like, I want to add an image? Oh shit. Oh. Okay. So this needs to be the site title. I'm realizing. Remove block. Site. Oh, all of these things exist. Oh, I'm a big dummy. Now I understand. Okay. So I just saw this as like a paragraph and was like, oh, I have to do it that way. But no, this can be a site logo. And then I can have my site title. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I want, right? So chill. Yeah, let's find something that looks kind of like a logo. The bluest of blues, yeah. Browser default blue. So all these pixels things are like photos, right? Like, do they have things where I can just... No way, that's CC0. Oh, I didn't check to make sure that that one was... No, I wasn't CC image. Oh, these are just like photos of things with logos. No, I just wanted like a circle or something. I don't want to steal their actual logo for like my test purposes. Because I mean, like it is very pretty, right? Oh, this is an animated GIF too. Oh, that's clever. I had not noticed that. Okay. Well, anyway, so I'll just leave that empty for the moment. And then there's like the nav menu here. It's like, what happens if I'm like, okay, I want to export this. Okay. I'm always terrified that this is gonna like reveal personal information about myself. It's not. You're gonna see these things that say naked, but that's a keyboard. This keyboard, which looks kind of wild, but it opens. It's a little travel keyboard. It's super cute. Every frame of the Bee Movie uploaded as CC0. Have you watched the Bee Movie? That movie's the worst. Like my kids were watching it because like I forget, like my mom had put it on or something, and I like turned it off. It was awful. Am I building anything blockchain on WordPress? Not for the WordPress shipped software. I'm sure that somebody somewhere is doing something with blockchain on WordPress. That is extremely not my area. All right, so block templates, block template parts. I want to know what this looks like, so I'm gonna like, oh no. I'm gonna open this VS Code real quick. Oh, so you can see it because I have like this section of my screen open. Footer is still empty. Header is still empty. What? Oh, because I didn't save it. Is that why? Okay, let me delete that then. Someone did a whole ASMR reading of the Bee Movie. That sounds like the worst possible thing to do with your time. Yeah, that 100% sounds like the opposite of ASMR. They have this like there's a joke about spiders in there. I think it's toward the beginning, and that one just like, it's not like offensive or anything. It was just like the cheapest, laziest humor from that would have been like, you know, could have fallen out of an episode of Home Improvement from the 90s or something. And that combined with the fact that it's like freaking, it's Jerry Seinfeld, right? It was just like, God, could this be more tired? Like it wasn't again, like it's everybody's always like, oh, you don't like it because, you know, you're offended by everything. It's like, I'm not offended by it. It's just like incredibly boring. And I want my children to be like more clever than that. You know, way to save a series of block template defaults as a blockchain for easy PR. Yeah, what if we didn't call it block grammar and we called it blockchain? But yeah, blocks are the pieces of content. So like, this is a nav menu block here, and this is like a cover image block. You're a huge Seinfeld BSMR. Oh my god. I'm like sad with myself for reading that out loud. You were such a Jerry Seinfeld fan in your teen years. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, humor changes, right? Like I think people are always afraid of like, oh, I'm gonna be like, you know, I'm gonna be canceled for doing XYZ thing like however long ago. And it's like, that's not people's goal. It's more like if you don't you like don't grow, right? Or if you don't own it, like if you still think he's funny, then you still think he's funny, and like maybe we just won't have compatible senses of humor. I don't know. For me, it's much more just like I'm not ultra familiar with his humor because like I don't know. I always get in trouble for saying this, but it's like it's white people stuff, right? Like I grew up like around plenty of white people, but it's just like not the stuff that I watched in my spare time or that my friends watched, because like my friends were not. So like I grew up watching like stand-up comedy. I mean, like that would have been like the Chris Rock era, right? Like everybody watched the Chris Rock comedy specials. But like I grew up watching like all the old Jamie Foxx specials and that kind of stuff. So like that's much more just like my familiarity. So then when I watch Seinfeld, like Seinfeld either like as a person or like see bits of the show, it's just completely new to me. Like I just have like no context, no baseline for understanding it, and I just end up confused. And then people are mad at me because they're like, "Isn't it hilarious?" And it's like, I don't know. I probably need to understand like 20 other things in order to find it funny. So, bidding for ads in WordPress. I have lots of ideas. I have lots of thoughts about ad blocks in WordPress. You've never seen Seinfeld. Is that good or bad? I don't think watching a TV show is a personality or an indictment of character. So it doesn't matter. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I'm not much of a TV person either, just sort of generally. Also, maybe a strange thing about me, but I'm just like not hugely into the TV. God, I don't know. I'm still sitting here thinking like paragraph here, because I want this specifically to be like a photo credit or something, but oh well. So I don't need this paragraph. There's like an extraneous paragraph. Navigation, little bitty paragraph down here. So does this mean like I can move the navigation inside the cover? Because that's what I actually want. I can. Okay, that's pretty cool. TV is all you watch. Yeah, lots of people watch lots of TV. I think that's great. It's just like, the same way that like WordPress is not my personality. Just I don't think that whether you watch a TV show or not is your personality. My thing, so I've been talking to some friends about this. This is why my streams go long. I get very distracted. It's like talking to people, but that's cool. I like it because we've all been like isolated for like a year. Like I have my family and stuff, but like in terms of like adult conversation about things like this, I just have like my spouse. That's it. Yeah, like I was talking to some friends about this the other day, and like why I don't watch TV, and like and I don't like. I don't think that makes me like special or something. It's just not me. I think my problem is that I don't want to say that I'm easily annoyed, because then people feel terrified that I'm annoyed with them all the time, which is not likely to actually be true. But I do find myself really easily annoyed by like fictional characters for some reason. I think because they're fictional, and so you could have written them whatever way you wanted. So like, why did you have to make them annoying? And so I really only enjoy TV shows when all the characters are likable, which sounds like really childish when I say it out loud. It's like, oh, you only want to like the people on a show. But it just feels like I have such limited spare time and very limited energy, because like I have small children. And so, like, if I'm watching TV, I don't want to be annoyed. I don't want a character, like, I don't want, like, the central conflict of a show, like, the driving factor of a show, or something that I'm, like, experiencing in my free time to be, to center around, like, conflict or deceit or somebody being annoying. Like, Like I've watched a lot of Orange is the New Black, and I almost quit watching because the the main character is like unbelievably annoying, just unbelievably annoying. And when I said something about it, people were like, "Yeah, that's the point. Like the whole point is that she's annoying, and so she's like, you know, the whole show is around." You know, the whole show is driven by her being annoying, and it was like, okay, but like I don't want that. Like I don't want to spend my time being annoyed by this person. And so like the only shows that I've really enjoyed recently have been like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, super enjoyable. Like not a huge fan of Cops personally, but I enjoyed Brooklyn Nine-Nine because like everybody's like likable and funny. Yeah. And also like I identify very deeply with Rosa. Try Superstore. Okay. I really like Kim's Convenience. Same thing. They canceled it, and I'm like devastated about it. So they're gonna wrap it up unless somebody else picks it up. That might be nice. But I think the show creators want to move on. But yeah, it's Kim's Convenience, same thing. Everybody's super likable. And yeah, and of course, like, you know, it's Korean Canadian, so that's like different from being like Chinese American, but there's still like similar, lots of things to identify with for me. Orange is the New Black was basically only saved for me by I don't even remember their character names. Tasty, is that her name? Tasty and that crew. Yeah, secondhand embarrassment is a huge thing for me too. I hate secondhand embarrassment, and I feel it a lot. Like, my husband was like, "Let's watch Schitt's Creek. It's super funny." And I watched the first episode, and everybody has been like, "Helen, you're supposed to watch more of it because the whole point is that it sets it up this way, blah, blah, blah." And it's like, but I don't want to spend 20 minutes of my spare time listening to like, a rich family scream at each other. Whether it's a setup for something else or not, I don't care. Like, why would I do that? Ted Lasso. Yeah, totally. Yeah, like I get to like the cringe moment, and it's like, nope, I don't want this. I feel ashamed for everybody involved, and I don't need that. I don't need that energy. So I just like turn it off, and you wait 6 months. I just never return to it. Because at that point I've moved on with my life, and I just don't watch TV. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been thinking about, is like, is this stupid of me? But I don't think it's stupid of me to like protect my energy, you know. I just like the vibes. Okay. So yeah, I can put the nav menu in my cover. I don't know if that's like correct, but if that's like really the intention of a cover, but I think that's pretty chill that I can like stick the cover image behind me. The cover image has like some settings, right? Oh yeah. So you can have like a fixed background. Cool. Yeah, I can't watch cringe stuff. Schitt's Creek was like 100% just cringe stuff, and I hate it. Couldn't do it. Okay. Minimum height of cover. There's just pixels. So like, does this style of control exist yet, where you can say like the cover is like 100% of the viewport? Because that would be really cool. I don't know. Like, I don't know if that should be like a block setting, but that's what I'm gonna want, right? Overlay. What if I don't want any overlay? Or just like a little bit. Cool. 100 VH. Yeah, exactly. I want 100 VH, but this very clearly, but very tinily, says PX. So this has to be defined in pixels. So like, is it like in the block editor? Can we like have VH type controls? Let's make it a fixed background. That looks pretty sweet. Yeah, sad face. The square thingy? What's square thingy? I can do it. Oh. Okay, but so then, like, that's super confusing to me because how come then I can have dimensions here and it doesn't say that I can do that? Because, like, that's totally exactly what I want. I just want it to be full height. But then... Oh, so this makes it... Then this changes to VH. So, like... Doesn't it feel like we should duplicate that control here? Like, I'm not saying that you should take it out of here. I'm saying, like, this is pretty cool. Like, truthfully, that's the best scenario because I don't want to have to open the sidebar. I should just be able to do it here. That makes lots of sense to me. But how come then, you know, if my first instinct is to look over here and see dimensions, right? Or if I have already gone in here because I want the fixed background thing, then how come I can't change that here? And it's React, right? Change it in both places. Is this the magenta that I defined? It's funny. Oh yeah, it's strong magenta because it's funny. It actually parallels with this image and is not at all what I would call magenta. I would call it purple. But whatever. Okay, so we have this. Once again, I have this empty paragraph block and I don't want it. Why does that keep happening? Yeah, exactly. Different people enter things from different ways. So why can't we have both? Yeah, see? Now, my streaming, all for this. You have now learned there is this option. Do we have a select field control? I don't know. I have never had to do it myself. But, oh, so the full height is new. Okay, that's cool. I don't know if there's a select control. Gutenberg control component units. Unit control. Okay. So there's a thing called unit control. So here's what we need in these. We need screenshots. That's one of the 10-up things that I'm very behind on, where a coworker and I, oh, here we go. Oh, is this in G2 then? What's in G2 and what's in core? Nobody knows. It's pretty chill. I like it. Core is pulling in that G2 component. Okay. I like this, like, a lot. This makes lots and lots of sense to me. And I love Storybook. We have some stuff we're working on. And by we, I mean this coworker, who, I don't know, hopefully is like off enjoying his weekend because it's like Friday night for him. His name's Fabian, and he's wonderful. But yeah, he's working on some stuff related to Storybook, and then we're planning this like series of block component showcases. So we go through like some common ones, but also the lesser used like components that are available in the editor, and show like how you might think about using them. So that's something I'm really excited about. I just have not prioritized that in my very long list of things to do. Okay, so I have this. The header looks pretty good. Like, there's no content in it, but that's fine. And then I want a footer of some kind. So in the footer, this is the footer, right? Okay, so in the footer, I need columns, and I want them to be 50-50. And then in this column, I want a heading. Is this an H2? This is an H3 probably. So I'm gonna call it contact. Hello. Okay. Here is some contact info. And this, oops. I want some like social icons. So like you would add like Facebook, Twitter, Insta, whatever. Are there any settings for these? Okay. No. So do we ship these icons? Speechless Salsa, a show about a family. Huh. Okay. Oh my god, I'm so glad my notifications don't show up in this screen share. I did not turn on Do Not Disturb. Thanks for subscribing. Hopefully that means that you're enjoying what I'm working on. Okay, so I have this, again, with these empty paragraph blocks. So that's sort of annoying because like I'm trying to set up a template here. And if I were to export that, I feel like I would assume that I would have a bunch of like junk paragraphs that I don't need. So we have that. And then here we want another heading. That's an H3. And newsletter sign up, let's say, right? Like, you totally want to hear from us more regularly. Why does it keep? Okay, so this is the second time this happened, so I don't think that I made a typo. I pressed enter. I'm in this block. I press slash, and it opens search. So it's like not actually focused in that block. So can you add a form? Input, no. So let's just add a button here. Or maybe we shouldn't do that. I guess like for that you would like want to actually have a block. But yeah, we could, let's just insert a button. Let's just say whatever, I don't know. Then what are the button options? I hear this song too much. I gotta skip it, hang on. Right, like you just like link to, I don't know. So whatever, like in real life, somebody would probably be using like a MailChimp plugin or something, and then they could insert that block here. Okay, I'm just gonna put this like not actual URL. So button things are all over here. So I can make it like, ooh, I can make it a fun gradient. Let's not do that. Let's just use the color. So you have like a border radius setting. Oh, that's kind of wacky. So I changed it. It was set to 5, but like the actual display is not 5. That is definitely not 5, right? That's like 100. Okay. That was kind of wacky. So how come this says 5, but it's not actually showing as 5? I'm gonna leave it that way. And again, with the like trailing paragraph. Okay, and then here, I want a separator. Where did it go? Can I just like not see it? Did I not add it? I didn't add it. Yeah, I don't know what the solution is, but like the fact that I'm trying to create a template and it's constantly inserting these like extra paragraphs and I'm, oh, this block hasn't counted. Fuck. Shit. The fact that I'm like unable, like I just keep panicking that I'm gonna end up with extra paragraphs in my like template output. Okay, so inside my footer, I want to add a, I don't know what that crash I just caused was, by the way. Okay, so this is outside the columns. I want this above the columns. And I'm going to duplicate this one and move it under the columns. And then I want to insert after, and I want to have a gallery. Okay, and then I want to add insert after. I want a separator. And then down at the bottom, I want to have your good old copyright. Okay. Copyright. My cool site. Right? Okay. So I have now a footer and a thing. So like my site's not, this theme's not even going to use a query block, is it? I don't think so. I think it's just because like I'm intending for this to be a one-pager. So I don't know. There's no query block. Found that block patterns. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like probably there was a block pattern to replicate this, but I don't know. I mean, that's the thing is like my first thought is not, oh, I could like insert a block pattern. Let's try it. But so like, because I always use this thing. And like, what if I was like, I want a widget, but that's not what it does. So then if I click browse all, then it's going to open the side thing, but it leaves this open. Infuriating. Why won't this close? How do I make this close? How do I make this close? That's not what I want. Oh my God. Okay, so patterns. We have query, heading and paragraph, quote, headers. These are missing the previews. Oh, this one's not. No, you're not the only one. I battled the trailing paragraphs and also like too many ad icons, and I get really confused about like which one am I supposed to click where. Like I almost would rather have them in here. Like, I would almost rather be able to be like right click, insert something after this, and then go futzing with it, because like there's just like too much going on in here. And like the separators especially, it's so hard to like actually select them. It's such a tiny target. Oh no, this is not the video that I want. And plus, so there are a bunch of patterns. There's query, buttons, columns, 2 columns of text, 2 columns of text images. So I guess like what you would want to do is like create a pattern in this theme for this like header paragraph button thing or something, right? And call that like a call to action, like text with a call to action or something. So yeah, maybe that's a pattern that you want to define. I don't know, like, yeah. All right, whatever. So the next thing here, so going back to the site. So we have this header area. It's like, I think, relatively well replicated at this point. And then we have this footer area, which I have just like arbitrarily decided is from this separator down to the bottom. So we have these like widgets, like what traditionally we would have thought of as widgets. And then, yeah, and then we have this. Can you manipulate in the outline view? I'm actually curious about that now. So if I'm in here, can I be like, I want to move this? No, outline view is view only, so I cannot like drag and drop in here. I feel like that would be kind of cool, to be honest, because this is so compact. It's almost like you've collapsed all the blocks, and so like, as somebody like trying to build out a theme, then I could just like dump a bunch of stuff in here and then like drag it around. That would be kind of neat. Huh. I don't have Anne here taking notes for me today. that was an extreme power flex, having like DevRel for full site editing taking notes for me for my stream. Yeah, I'll try to like rewatch my own stream and like try not to hate listening to myself talk and like pull notes from it later. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it, to like be able to drag stuff around, and like here I have this like stupid ending paragraph and like browser, hover over a block and it highlights in the editor. So right, you can click it and it'll jump to it. But yeah, it would be kind of cool if it like highlighted. Right? Oh no, it does. It's just super subtle. So look, when I hover over gallery and that border disappears, it's because it's giving it a white outline, and that white outline is super not showing on my background. But yeah, it does highlight it. Oh, here. If I click in, it'll be more obvious. Yeah. So when I hover over site title, it does give it a little outline. So that's the kind of thing where like maybe theme authors might actually have to be a little more deliberate about like styling that a bit. Or, you know, like the default style I think actually should probably be better than this. But yeah. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I'm now understanding list view better. I was asked after my last stream, like, how come you didn't use it? It was like, just like literally never even think about opening it. But like, I think once you get used to it, it's super compelling. But yeah, like I said, like it could be really cool if you could like expand collapse sections too. And then that way I could like drag my entire, like if I built out a whole section like this, right, with all this nested stuff, and then I just like was like, oh shit, it's like in the wrong place, I could like drag and drop it somewhere else instead of having to like go in here, so like click it to highlight it and then grab the thing. Oh fuck. And drag it. Uh-oh. That seems bad. Why did it do that? I don't know. You don't use it unless you have a boss. Yeah. But like it could. Yeah, I don't know, Timothy. I don't know what just happened. Okay, so I'm going to try it again. I selected the footer. I clicked drag and started moving it around, and it like wigged out because I'm dragging this like enormous thing. And then when I put it here, now it's fine. But the first time I did it, it like inserted that weird stuff, and it was there already. Like the moment I hit drag, it was in there. And I don't really know why. I recognize what it stuck in there, but I don't know why or how it did that. Okay. But yeah, the like outline trying to show you like what you're about to select is just like so fidgety. I don't know. I don't know that it's a bad thing because like honestly you're not in hopefully you're not in here that much. But yeah, it is kind of fidgety. Okay, so I'm basically just like using this to make a one pager. Okay, so going back. This is what I meant by the gallery. So like there's this gallery. Let me grab some more images. How do I know like what's actually CC0? You have to go into the photo page to find CC0 images, but that's frickin' annoying. How do I see this? Wait, okay, so when I know this is a personal project and I don't necessarily need to care. Okay, so I have to see free to use CC0 and you have to go into the image to see that. So I just have to like randomly click around. Yeah. Screw that. Let's go back to Timothy's very, very helpful link. Please don't tell me I have to like sign up for something. I just want to encourage us to photograph our own flowers. I have lots of pictures of my own flowers. I can do that. Sure, let me just make sure that I know which photos this is. The other problem is that like all of the iPhoto stuff it comes over in HEIC now, right? So that's super annoying. I uploaded a bunch of flower photos to Insta. Okay, this was February 28th. Okay, I'm gonna not do this on stream. Browse all of my photos. Okay, Dropbox. Sort by name. Camera uploads. What I can tell you, is, yeah, I don't have anything sensitive in here. I use Hazel to organize everything into type. So this is like the automatic camera uploads from that Dropbox features. And then I use Hazel locally on my machine because it's on all the time to sort into file types. So I have GIFs, photos, screenshots, and videos. Screenshots just means it's a ping. So sometimes it's not quite correct, but it's just all ping files and videos. And then it sorts into year and month folders. So it's easier for me to find all my stuff. Okay, so February 28th, I uploaded a bunch of flower photos. And took photos of my children, apparently. Oh yeah, that's probably showing on screen, right? Okay. I'm just gonna drag these in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are my 4 rose photos. Okay. These are my flower photos. These are all flowers in my garden. I'm very proud of them. This one's my favorite, and it was budding, and the bud broke off. I discovered it this morning. I was actually devastated about it. Because this one's my favorite rose. Look how pretty it is. Alright, I'm not going to set all the alt text and stuff. Insert my gallery. Do galleries come with a caption? I thought they did. Like, I thought galleries came with like an overall gallery caption. I guess they don't. Yeah, I thought they did. I don't see it. Oh no, here. Oh, it's because the text is like tiny and white. Look at that. Write gallery caption ... Yeah, it's this tiny ass thing. It's white. So I definitely need theme styles. Okay, photo credit. I'm just gonna type it there. And I'm gonna, okay. Prop images, and then my columns, I'm gonna set it to 5 because that's how many images I have. But in reality, the design I'm gonna be replicating doesn't really have columns. It's like a horizontal scroller. Is that okay? I mean, I guess you could like make it whatever, but yeah, how accessible. I mean, that's the default experience. Maybe it's because like my global styles are not set right, you know? But like my background color, I really want it to be like white. Picker, you're an asshole. Whoa. So this like cycles you through different inputs? Doesn't let you pick? Okay. Okay, so this is better. Now it's like gray, so I can actually see it. I wonder why. I wonder why it decided that white was the color it should put on top of the light gray. Isn't that weird? I don't know. Yeah, that cycle thing was strange. I don't know. I know just as much as you do. Okay, so I inserted a media library. There's like a photo credit. It's cute. Yeah, I'm learning a lot too. Okay, so here's the next thing. So now, like, well, okay, so let's update this design first of all. Isn't it, I really freaking hate this. I noted this the other day. It's just this 33 instead of like knowing that that's the background color that I changed. I'm editing my index template. That's fine. Header and footer. Oh, here's the thing. So let's just move this empty paragraph. So I can't move it until I like type something. It's kind of annoying. So how come I ended up with like another empty paragraph? Okay, well, whatever. I'm just gonna put an empty paragraph between the header and the footer just so I see what happens. So I've updated my index template, the header, the footer, and I noted this on Tuesday's stream too. It says select, which in my head, yeah, the empty paragraphs are secretly a Bitcoin miner, and every time it inserts an empty paragraph, you have like 0.000001 new Bitcoin. It says select, which like in my head maps to like the checkbox, right? Because like if you think about like selection, what does select mean when you see it as like a little piece of text inside of a form? You think like, oh yeah, it's like related to the checkbox, but it's not. It's a highlighter. It does the same thing as like clicking over here. You see? So I feel like that needs to say highlight, not select. It needs to say highlight and highlighted. And there's no way to like turn that off. Yeah, see? It's cool. It's like showing you what it is. But like then I feel like this global style thing needs a jump link so you can jump and see like what glow style is. Anyway, so yeah, this should just say like highlight and highlighted. Very confusing. I don't really know. I sort of understand like why you would implement that and why that would be useful, but I don't know. It only seems marginally useful to me. Okay, anyway, I'm going to save this. What does this look like in mobile? Okay, so it does stack these. I was talking again to Famion about this, and this apparently inlines the query CSS, and it doesn't actually reflect. It's not an iframe that reflects anything, so I don't know how you can make that reflect your own front-end styles, but whatever. All right, export. I'm gonna open this zip. Okay. Okay, yes, I have opened the zip. What's in here? Block templates, block template parts. So let me just open this in VS Code and throw it up in this quadrant. So now my block template. Okay, yeah. It just shows WP paragraph with empty tags. And then my block template part, I have a header, and a footer. Okay. So then what does this mean? This means that I would want to copy all this stuff over into my actual theme itself. So I can take this footer and put it in my footer HTML. But here's the thing. So I should have left these empty because now it's like, you have all this stuff. Right? So like, I see. So you would almost basically have starter content in here, except like we don't have a method of mapping these kind of images. I'm super curious about this. Like, how could, so now I'm thinking like a core developer. So I recognize now that I have exited, I'm a normal user mode, or in this case, a normal theme developer mode. And I'm now thinking as a core developer, and not just any core developer, but one of the core developers who wrote the starter content feature. How, can we marry this with starter content somehow? Like, in my gallery, in my block template, I should read the docs. Watch us be covered in the docs, and I'm just sitting here like spinning my wheels for nothing. Backward compatibility, blah blah blah. I don't care about this right now. Deprecations. Hang on, I don't care about this. Introduction to the format API. Wait. Oh. Backward compatibility was not in the block-based theme. Oh, that's wacky. So the forward-back navigation does not respect the hierarchy. Or rather, maybe there isn't really a hierarchy. And it's all just this menu set up a certain way. Sorry. I need to put my I need to put do not disturb on. So I'm not distracted by this. Somebody was talking about Christopher Maloney's double cheeked up self in my text. Like I said, I don't talk about WordPress in my spare time. All right. Yeah. Okay. So I didn't understand that. I have lots of complaints about the documentation apparently. So absolutely do not understand that. That backward compatibility here was not a part of how to make a block-based theme. So there is nothing else about my block-based theme. I don't know. So this obviously is like early documentation, but it feels like it needs to talk about no, okay, I have to turn do not disturb on. Hang on. Do not disturb, at least for the next hour. Yeah, so in order to do this, I need to also understand block patterns. I need to also do some other stuff. Been taking time off programming for 8 months to take care of kids' virtual school stuff. So for the record, like, I know that I'm a core developer. Like, I know that that's my job. But I think everybody thinks of us as being like omniscient, I don't know, omniscient robots. And also people think of us as being like a self-reinforcing cabal. I hear that a lot. We get called a cabal a lot, which is a word I had never heard used by anybody until I started working on WordPress, and suddenly I was like accused of being part of one all the time. And it's like, certainly there are people who exist who have a hard time saying no to somebody they perceive as like being in power. That will always be true. That will always be real. But I think something that you learn, especially like the longer you've worked at a company, especially if you become, leadership at a company, the type of people who make it into leadership, like a healthy leadership team at least, are people who like enjoy disagreeing, frankly. It's not the case everywhere. There are plenty of narcissists who build companies who just surround themselves with yes people. But I think, in WordPress, there's a huge mixture of people. But like at the very least, I feel like anybody who's spoken to me for any length of time and now watched me stream for any length of time knows that I'm not afraid to disagree. Like, I would not say that I'm a disagreeable person. It's just that like I'm not afraid of it. Like, I don't think that we need to agree all the time, and I don't think that makes anything bad. We just like don't agree about something. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a big deal to me. And yeah, so it's just like, I feel like it should be pretty easy to understand that like I'm not afraid to disagree. And so when people are like, "Oh, you guys are just like, a bunch of yes people," and it's like, have you like not listened to me ever? It's a little weird to me. But yeah, like I don't know everything that's going on, and certainly like with experimental features like this, like there was a time where I felt like I needed to be on top of everything, and I really stressed myself out trying to keep track of every single thing that was going on. Like I was reading like the track fire hose and trying to stay on top of like feature plugins, right? All that kind of stuff. And I really like honestly burned myself out a lot trying to stay on top of everything, right? And also like being consulted on everything, right? Like people ask me for my opinions on everything from like, is this the file I should put stuff in, to what do you think of this class structure, which for the record, I'm probably not going to have an opinion on, like, ever. My opinion is always going to be make it match everything else. People ask me, like, what do you think of this color? What do you think of this layout? What do you think of this sentence? Like, I get asked about everything, which I, appreciate that people trust me with that stuff. And so, like, I'm not complaining in the least, but it's a lot. And so I have accepted over the past couple of years, where I was also working part-time for a couple of years. And I really came to accept that I cannot know everything. It is not reasonable for other people to expect me to know everything. And I'm just going to have a policy of being honest with people. When they ask me about something, I'm going to say, I don't know. I can find out if it's a priority, but I don't know. So that's what I've been doing. And so like, no, I don't know it's full site editing. Some of it's also like, because of my positioning and also because of the type of person I am, if I evaluate stuff really early, and I give people feedback, it tends to make people feel one of two ways. One is they feel like I'm saying that what they've done is bad because I'm being critical, when I'm not. I'm saying that like I think it would be better if something was different, but like the human emotion around that is understandably going to be like, oh, like you think everything is bad. And the other thing is that when you note shortcomings that people are already aware of, it tends to make people feel really frustrated and annoyed, and that's also very human and also something that I feel. I am also prone to that. So I've started to stay away from evaluating stuff in the early cycles and kind of waiting until we're closer to a point where somebody's like, I think I would like to ship it, before testing it. I don't think that that's what everybody should do. I think that there should be different people testing things at different phases. But I think that my position, again, with the kind of person that I am, the kinds of things that I tend to nitpick, and also the way that people, like the weight of my words, I guess I should say. I shouldn't put it on the other people. Like, it's the weight of my words and my positioning is that it's better for me to wait until like later to process, until people feel like they're closer to a point. That does come with some downsides. With like, then sometimes you're saying stuff and people are like, but it's so late. Like, how come you didn't say that earlier? And it's like, I may not have noticed it earlier because like I would have been so distracted by other stuff or whatever. Like, any number of reasons, right? Like, feedback comes when feedback comes. I don't know. All right. You know what else I think? I think P2 like crashes my browser. Okay, my other child is gonna be home soon, so might get a little loud. Yeah. So back to this. Here's what I was thinking of. How can I take this stuff and make it into starter content? Like, what is the bridge between starter content and block-based themes? Because it feels like a block-based theme, because you can have like these blocks and then put stuff inside the blocks. It's very arbitrary, right? So it feels like I should be able to bridge that. And the part that's missing is media references. So, is there... Oh, sorry, I'm back in this window. Theming for the block editor. Oh, there's like a ton of shit in here. Okay, I'll have to look at that later. This is creating blocks, feature flags, designer documentation, community. Oh, reference guides. How do I learn how to make a block pattern? Tutorials. How to make a block. How do you learn how to make a block pattern? Where was this? This was under block API reference. Bro, I would have never found that. What? Are you kidding me? How the hell would I know that block patterns are block API? Whatever. Okay. You register block pattern. Okay, whatever. fine. So yeah, that's what I want to, like, could I provide imagery in my block-based theme and have that imported into into your media? And I don't know what that looks like. Like there's a lot around that. So like if I bundle a header image, right? Hang on, let's go back in here. Let me make sure I copy this over. So header, this is gonna go in the header, but I'll just leave this up on the screen. So this header, right, has a URL, but it also has an ID. Parallax, dim ratio, mid-height unit. Okay, cool. But then it has the div. Okay. So here's what I want to know. Like, does the WP cover have to have an ID? It feels like it does because you have to pick it from the media library, right? But also, like, I could make this, like, I could point this to, I can just give it a URL. Oh, you're right. Wait, no. Replace, but it says media library. I can't just, like, arbitrarily give it a URL. So, like, what happens if, like, I take out the ID and stuff? Like, is it gonna complain at me? Okay. So what I would have to do is, like, in the URL, I'd have to be like WP content themes. Okay, is that documented anywhere? Because yeah, that feels like the kind of thing we need to oh shoot, I'm doing the wrong thing. Is that truly ever documented? Nothing is ever truly fully documented, but partial documentation would be better than nothing. WordPress, block, patterns, images. I told you this is entirely just me learning how to do this. We're not allowed to use the images hosted on the WORG CDN. So here's something else that I want. Here I am with my I'm gonna beat you up pose. Something that I want is I was talking to somebody about this, and now that I've been playing with full site editing, now it's like, okay, we could really host this on .org. So like, what if we had a theme builder on WordPress.org, and you exported your theme from .org, and what you could do is choose items from the w.org CDN, right? Pre-approved images or whatever. But yeah, CC0 images. And you could include those, and then those would become the things that you could include in your theme. And then you wouldn't even have to bundle it inside your theme, right? Like the theme would continue to be super ultra compact, and it would just reference it from .org. And maybe we could build it a thing where it's like, oh, I like this stuff, I want to import it into my site, right? Like import all these images. I feel like can you imagine, right? Yeah, like the underscores exporter. So yeah, basically, like, I think that's one of the things that makes this kind of project so compelling, is that this kind of experience is what you could host on .org, right? And you just entirely make the experience there. And in fact, like, what if we made it so that if you do your entire theme just using a builder on .org, you could just launch it with like no review. There would just be like a language scanner. Oh great, Kelly's here. Kelly knows more. Patterns directory. Okay, I don't feel too bad. This is only from like 10 days ago. It's like, oh, am I supposed to know about this? So there's supposed to be a pattern directory. That's pretty sweet. I like it. Yeah, patterns directory, beautiful thing. Look at that. That's awesome. Yeah, perfection. So that's your job this week. Do you get to work on the end-to-end testing side of things too? Yeah, so you could like submit a pattern. But yeah, like, okay, I think we are all approaching the same thing. Very basic checks in place. Yeah, so like we probably have to have some things that scan, like do some very rudimentary like vocabulary scanning, and that's gonna suck because it's gonna catch stuff like false positives and whatever. Oh, of course, Timothy already knows. You guys are much better at keeping track of everything than I am. I'm just gonna excuse the fact that I have, again, 2 small children, only one of whom is in school full time. How cool. Okay, I need to remember this for later. My problem is that if I leave P2 open, it chews Firefox. I wish that there was a way to have P2, like, turn off the dynamic stuff in P2, because it just, like, kills my browser. Maybe there is a way, but I don't know. Okay, so that's cool. So what if we had that? So what if, I think we are, like I said, I think we're all approaching the same thing. So if we had this builder on .org and you could like submit a pattern, right? Or you could submit like an entire theme. Like what if you could do that? And then if it's something that you're able to create by only using the generator, so no additional code, like then you don't have to even go through the theme review process. Like, can you imagine that? Like imagine the explosion of like interesting designs that people could come up with if we just give them like color palette and fonts and like some stuff like that, right? Like, can you imagine? Like, how cool would that be? I feel like that would be, yeah. Like, do you remember the CSS Zen Garden? Am I outing how old I am? I don't know if anybody remembers this. Oh, it looks so pretty. It's so nice. So CSS Zen Garden. Oh no. Oh, I see. Okay. So the whole thing with CSS Zen Garden is that it's just the same HTML. Yeah, so Media Temple donates now to host this, because this is like a piece of internet history, honestly, and this is I think this very much parallels like what we're getting back to on the web. So it's the same HTML, and the whole point is that you just submit CSS. Okay, so these are like old school now, but this is the same HTML that was here, right? Oh, my child is yelling for me. Oh, that's a weird vibe. I think that's supposed to be, bro, I don't know. I assume this is supposed to be Scouts, but that's a weird vibe. I don't know. Yikes. Yeah, so you can see this is like old school looking CSS, right? Mid-century modern. Oh, this is cute. This is super cute. Yeah, so you can see this is all the same HTML, and everything here is just CSS. And I feel like we're getting back to that. Like, we're in a place where this kind of theme development experience could mean that, minus the constraint of the content, because the whole thing with CSS Zen Garden is you're constrained by the content. But maybe if we also included like prose starter content type of stuff, right? So this is not this is getting outside of like raw block patterns and rather like content patterns or something. Like you could have a bunch of things and you just put it together and put it out there. So it's just a skin, right? And I feel like when you have those types of constraints, like people get super creative with this. Like, look at this. I mean, just look at this, right? Like, imagine this as a WordPress theme. Like, could we, like, how come there's no themes? Are there any themes on WordPress.org that look like this? I don't think so. But this is so freaking cool and I love it. Like, I think this is such a fun design. And so, like, how can we give people the tools to like build this kind of theme without needing to know all the in and outs? And all they really need to do is like be able to mess with blocks and write some custom CSS, right? It's like, imagine that. Imagine how freaking cool that would be. This is a front, yeah, like this is a full site editing challenge. we should create this as a block-based theme. Can we release this as a block-based theme? How freaking cool would that be if this was like one of the default block-based themes that you could build from? How freaking cool would that be? I'm gonna leave that in my tab so that I go revisit that. Anyway, so that's CSS Zen Garden. Old school, but I love it. Like, just imagine that. Anyway, that's good to know. But yeah, right now, I guess I would just have to reference a URL in my theme. The problem is, hang on. Am I allowed to edit this as HTML? No. So I'm not, there's no code editor in here. Okay. So like I would have to, at this point, without the documentation, I would have to sort of like pray that I could like manipulate this and make it like /WP content themes, my theme thing, and like maybe I would take this out, right? And then the same thing here. The problem is like people's, because there's no PHP here, people can move WP content and that sort of thing. So like, can you put that in there? I don't know. So I guess that's what you would have to do. I don't know. But how do we marry those things? I don't know how to do that right now. So that's my number one question coming out of my experiment here. PHP-based template parts can enable. I'm going to assume that's a question for others because I don't know. No freaking clue. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if, so, okay, so let's say that I want to put this theme out there. What I have to do here is I do still have to make it so, like pre-insert some of these blocks, because again, my premise here is that the majority of people are not going to be able to look at this and be like, okay, I know that I need to insert a header and blah, 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 right? Oh yeah. Oh, some constants. Yeah. So yeah, tokens would be nice. That's what they're called. They're called tokens. So some tokenized stuff could be nice, like mustache style. Kind of stuff, right? Like what if we had that? I don't know. Yes, I blank on vocabulary and terminology constantly, so I'm not correcting you. It's just, yeah, tokens. I remembered today. Yeah, I think that it's super powerful to not have to go to PHP. And also this does tie into like, how can we make it so that you don't have to go through a full audit process, to have like the full theme review process? Like, how could we also ease the burden on the theme review team if my presumption is correct and that that there will be an explosion of small targeted themes, right? So having stuff like that, and like a generator could then insert those things, right? Would be super helpful, I feel like. So yeah, because like you could opt to like, let's say like there was a generator on .org and you could like opt to bundle all the images with your theme, or just like only make them available, like pull them from .org. Oh, this has like a read more link. So yeah, so I don't think that people are gonna go into a theme and see just the header and the footer and think like, okay, yeah, I know all the bits and pieces that I want to put in between the like header and the footer. I think that the theme has to come with some of these sections inserted by default with those anchors, and those anchors linked to from here, because I'm imagining this as a one pager and people like have to be trained to understand anchors. GeoCities Reimagined. I fucking loved GeoCities. Oh, this has been merged. Oh, so it's just like a fallback. Interesting. Okay. I don't know. You want to see a stupid thing that I was working? I showed this off once. Aim profile. I started working on this to learn React. It's the aimprofile.lol. It's very stupid right now. It just... You can hear that, right? Here, let me pause the music. Yeah. Somebody's listening to this in the background right now. They're like, wait. Hang on, I have a spousal message. So I was working on this to learn React outside of the WordPress context, because I've actually only used React in the editor. Like, I've never written a React app on my own or something like that. So I started this for two reasons. One is that, and the other is that like I legitimately want this thing. I'm getting completely sidetracked here. I'm just gonna roll with it. I miss this. I miss having something temporal, without history, without having to be tied to like the totality of your online identity. And I want to have a thing where like you just make a profile and it's just like whatever you're feeling in that moment, and it doesn't like remember what you were feeling a year ago. It's not going to bombard you with like, a year ago you were like posting sad emo lyrics. Like, nothing like that. Doesn't remember anything. Completely forgetful. It's just, you pick a screen name and you make a profile, and that profile is limited to 1 kilobyte of font tags. I'm gonna try to figure out like what that subset of HTML4 that was it HTML4, like pre-HTML numbers, that HTML at that time allowed. And yeah, and just make a profile that's in that moment. Yeah, allow marquee, were you allowed to have marquee and blank? I don't even remember if those were allowed. It's so hard to remember now because it's so long ago. I feel like there must be a way of like accessing those old versions, but just having that old method, and yeah, and I think like the way I'm thinking about it is that there wouldn't even be actual user sign up. Like, what you would do is you would enter an email address and pick a screen name, And then when you want to edit it, you have to enter the email address and the screen name. And if they match, then it'll email you an edit link that's good for like a day or something. I think that's all I want. That's all I want it to do. So that's my dumb side project. And I've thought about it a lot. I did all of this in the course of like 2 days. And then like stopped playing with it because I had to go back to work. But yeah, this is what I want. And I want it to, well, yeah. So you have your profile and then you can just like randomly view profiles. So you can like enter screen name and see what's up with that screen name. And that's all I want. That's all I wanted to do. And I just feel like it would be a fun little toy. And like my whole thing is that like I want whimsy and fun again online. Everything feels so serious and I just want it to be like in the moment, like having some fun. Anyway, all right, so back to this. I don't think people know what to put between the header and the footer, and they have to know about the sections and they have to know about linking to anchors and all that stuff. So I need to insert some of these, but maybe, well, yeah, let's go ahead and add a top section. Okay, I'm gonna switch this over to this other screen again. Out of my reverie about the internet. So here is my, like, do we want this to replicate the site title? I feel like you should be allowed to make this say whatever you want, because sometimes your SEO site title is like not necessarily the same thing that you want. Here. Welcome. And then what I want here is I want columns again, and I want this to be a 70-30 split. And then here I want to have a pull quote, dynamic, amazing, so super cool. A major publication. So I want a pull quote here, and then I want to have like paragraph. My group is one of a kind. This. My editor is slowing down again, so it's definitely some tab somewhere, or maybe this tab is chewing memory. Okay, hang on. What if I refresh this? Also, what if I refresh this? I didn't do this. Okay, so this is my output. I have zero CSS. So this is all just cores CSS. How is that output? Is it like inline? I don't even know. I mean, whatever. At least, I mean, that's kind of cool that it just like works like that. All right. I refresh this. Maybe this will let go of some of whatever it's chewing on in the background. This is where a bio would go. Still a little slow. Here, I want to add social icons again. Got Facebook, Twitter, Insta. And then just paragraphs, yeah. You can sign up for our email newsletter. We are a registered, I don't know, I'm just making stuff up. This is not on the site. So I have this section. So this is kind of like one section of my site. And then, yeah, here's where it's like, okay, I'm inside the column, but like, how do I insert something directly under the column? So I have to like select the columns and then insert after. It's super annoying. Okay, then I want a separator. Okay, and then under the separator, insert after. I need another heading. Wait, these should be H2s, right? I don't even know. Let's just go with it because I want it to be consistent. So I'm gonna call this media, right? Or, I mean, we can make it opinion. We can call it listen. And then, what do you think about this? Oh, somebody's here. Let's see, that's my in-laws. Okay, so this, I want to have icons that link to Spotify and transform to columns. Okay, but if I transform to columns, it doesn't give me that initial cool little thing. So now, how do I get that fun thing that like lets me pick? How do I get back to that thing that lets me pick it? So I have to delete, insert after, and then again pick columns. It's mad annoying. 70-30. How do I select this column? So what if I want this to be like 20%? Does that automatically? Doesn't. Okay. Is there like a click and drag? No. Okay. Okay. That's supposed to be all caps. Is this where social icons can be used? So you can put Spotify and okay, so what if I wanted like, is there like another, well, okay, let's just go with SoundCloud for now or something. Let's move here. Okay, so let's say we want that. So we have that in like this column layout. And then once again, I'm in this problem of like, for all the times that it inserts stupid paragraphs and shit, sorry, and things, now I don't have one. So like, how do I insert a thing under a column? Like when I have the column here and then what's next is the footer, how do I insert something here? And I can't do it from the list view. I can't be like right click, insert after, or like dots, insert after. Columns. I have footer. I want to insert before the footer. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, so now I have like another thing. So okay, put this here. So now we have this. So what is this? Is this a block pattern? Like, should we call this like an album? And it has like image and then links that you define. But that's like, how do I style that, and what is the editor experience for that? Like maybe these links are in the sidebar, but you can't do that unless it's a custom block, right? So like, how do I represent that in the editor? I don't know. Like without making it custom block. I could very easily do this with a custom block. But how could this, I don't know. I don't know who's still around, but is this, it is a cover block, but this only shows on hover. Like I know that I could make that happen in the CSS, but like what is the editor experience for that? Like only when it's selected do I show these things, the internals? I guess that would make sense. Yeah, but I would still need to make it like a block pattern, right? Because like, okay, that's what you would expect. Yeah, that makes sense. I think like when you've selected it, you can edit these things. But I think it does need to be a block pattern so that you're in, like you have these links like kind of pre-inserted so that people can just like tweak them and not have to know I need to insert a cover. Okay, we can go with that for now. That'll really let me know. So I want a 3 across. So I have a cover. We'll just reuse my flower covers. So this comes with the title thing, but then so like I don't, well, I guess you need a title because like, I don't know, like for accessibility, that maybe. I'm looking at their, oh, they totally don't. So their site's like super not accessible. But I don't really need a title. I just need these, and then for each of these, I want to center these. I'm just gonna, I have no idea if these are real URLs. Assume this one. Okay. So I want to duplicate this and then move this into this column. Okay, and then replace is just for the image. Right, and then we're gonna duplicate it again. Move that here. There's nothing indicating where I'm actually dropping it, so that is sort of annoying. And then look at this. The sidebar is hanging out over here. Yeah, I wish that drop area would show too, or at least like confirm to me that that's where I'm putting it. Okay, well anyway, I'll just pick another, my favorite rose. Okay, so that's pretty chill actually. I mean, like, I think that this looks reasonably like what I would want it to look like, right? So my thing here is that now when I'm not is selected on somewhere in the columns, right? If the columns or something inside the columns are not selected, then I would want to hide the overlay. And that's pretty cool, because then I could tweak the overlay too. So like if it's something where the whole album background is like white or something, maybe I don't need the overlay and it just shows links. Yeah, so that's kind of a cool way of repurposing this. The problem here is like, well, I mean, you do have alt text, so like presumably if you have the album cover, like you put like album cover for blah blah blah, and then it has that there, so that's at least like screen readable. It does kind of feel like more properly in HTML these would have actual titles, but they don't show, so I don't know. All right, so we have that. Just using native blocks. Yeah, absolutely. A custom block would be like, I think, the ideal experience as far as like editors are concerned. But for a portability thing, using the cover block, I think it's actually pretty clever. I'm just over here noodling about like the SEO and accessibility side of things, which is like, assuming these mean albums, right? Albums or singles or something. Where do you put the title? Because like I would think that you would want to have the title, and so like if we kept the title for the cover block, that would be fine. I don't know that it would necessarily look great, although you know what, it might look fine. Okay, hang on, let me insert cover. What is the deal with this title thing? Advanced. How is it getting this special styling? It does feel like we should just have that. Like maybe that is actually more correct, and I don't need to like one-to-one replicate this other website. Yeah, that seems fine, like showing an album title on mouse over. That might even be more correct. So let's remove block. The reason why I'm having to do this is because like I don't know how this title thing is entered. You prefer this? I think I do too, right? Because like the album art might not be clear about what the title is, especially at small sizes. So like it's better to have the album title, right? Or you could put something like available on, right? So like you could repurpose that however you want, or then you could remove it if you really didn't want it. So like the default should be something more accessible. But here, okay, so here's what I don't understand. Like the cover block inserts this special type of paragraph, but then then you could still insert other stuff, and I don't really understand that. So I don't know how to replicate that without having to like delete and remake it. So that's something that's a little annoying. It's like I'm having to remake this. Just duplicate once again. Where is my drop target? Because I don't have anything in here. So like there's no little. Does it have it? No, it doesn't. That's what I was looking at. I don't see an additional CSS classes here. And it's center aligned by default. So it does that on insertion. So I think it's just that it's center aligned with a large font size. I think it just like inserts it with those defaults. So this concept does exist. You can change block settings based on insertion context. Or I guess a cover is basically a pattern. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna duplicate. I'm just changing the images because it's more fun for me. duplicate. I'm kind of getting a feel for what this actually looks like too. Okay. This is looking pretty good. And then the next thing I would want is I want a 2-up of YouTube videos. The block book. Yeah. So what my coworker is working on is bringing this into the admin. It's pretty cool. Markup, editor. But how do you see the panel? Isn't there supposed to be like... Does this one not have all the stories? Whoa, 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 whoa. This needs to be updated. Example. Edit. Where's the sidebar? Alright, anyway, so what I'm doing here now is I want a YouTube video. I've been having problems with this. Yeah, it's still not. It doesn't show embeds. That's a little bit of a blocker. It does show it when on the front end, but it just seems bad. I'm gonna update this because of this. This is a broken experience. But yeah, so you can see here, like, oh, weird. Oh my god, I know what happened. This is not the URL I put. This is a different embed cache. And now I cannot find my stupid embed again. Oh, damn it. Look. And then this is covering the other toolbar, so I cannot, so I can't change it. Yeah, I totally... Okay, I need to remember this. Because I am putting the right URL. Yeah, look at this. So this is still loading an old OEmbed cache. And it's not the correct OEmbed cache for the actual URL. I'm actually very concerned about that because I don't even know how you would end up retrieving the wrong OEmbed because they're supposed to be keyed to the URL, like a hash of the URL. And this is absolutely not. Look at this, CF5S, but the one I pasted is BXVJ. So these are absolutely not. Like, I absolutely did not make a mistake here. I'm very worried about that. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so this is working pretty well. So here's the next thing that I need to do is let's just leave it at this one section because I also just like want to stop doing this momentarily. I'm gonna advance. I'm gonna HTML anchor listen, right? And then here in the nav menu, I'm gonna start empty. I'm gonna add a custom link, and I want to link to listen. Oops. Right? And this is linking to listen. So I want to do that. And just have that for the moment. So again, let's update and save this. Yeah. So we have all this stuff now. I think that's super fun and it's working well. So now I have to do the export again. So now when I look at index, now this has the header and then it has all that other stuff in between, right? And then this bottom thing. I'm so stressed about this. This is so bad. Anyway, so we'll stick that over here in index.html. Make sure that we have it. I did not change header and footer further, right? Oh no, I did change the header. Just repaste everything in just to be clear. Okay. So we'll save this. And so now this should be my theme. It is still referencing IDs because, you know, I'm just running this locally. So the IDs for the moment will be fine, but I do need to figure out like, how does that work? So yeah, so I have a pretty good sense of like what the layout is now. You know, it's a live front end. I think it looks like reasonably good even without actual styling, right? So like to actually style it, right, we would need to excuse me, have some sort of default style for a site title that looks really nice in case they don't have like a super cool logo. Hello, did my trackpad just give up? Totally did. Okay. And then styling the nav menu to look like this, and like how do we do this color thing? Or does it matter? Like, do we just like arbitrarily pick colors? But they're supposed to match the headings. So like, I guess you could just like arbitrarily do it. But like, can we have colors? So like setting up the color palette. So the next part would be, yeah, the design. So pulling out the colors that you want, doing some of this stuff, and then like, how do you handle that in the editor? Making all the icons, you know, black and white, or maybe you would leave them color, I don't know. Or have an option. I don't know. Like, can you make theme options? How does that work now? And then, yeah, like maybe adding one or two more of these sections to have more examples in your one pager. And then, yeah, and then styling the galleries some kind of way, styling these things some kind of way, styling the separators, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. So that would definitely be the next step, is that like now in my block-based theme, I have this essential layout, which I think is very close. Now have this layout in my template parts, And so now my job is to CSS it to make it look the way that I want it to look. And I think that that's like, seems reasonably powerful. I don't know like how much of the CSS is retained. Let me see. These are all inline. So it has like a lot of inline styles. Yeah, I don't know. So it generates a bunch of inline styles, I guess. And yeah, but like if I click on this link, it jumps me. Oh, but it jumps me past it because it's stupid. Whatever. I mean, you could put a spacer, right? So that's the other thing is like, you know, would I enforce? So okay, here's the other thing about block-based themes. So like, would I enforce the space on the styling level, or would I pre-insert spacers? I think that you would enforce it, is what I think. But maybe not. Like maybe what you end up doing is you say the H1 is like super duper huge, but then all the space underneath is a spacer, so people could like futz with it if they really wanted to. Maybe. What do global styles have? This is another thing. So in global styles by block type, you'd say all my H2s font size. Oh, so I can make like all of them huge. Okay, that's not really huge. I need to make it like 96 or something. Yeah, so I can make all of these like super huge. It's like that I can define in my experimental theme, I think. Oh yeah, here. Font size, line height. See, I could totally just like make this absolutely enormous. And then that gets generated on the front. Compute. What size is this? It doesn't have a size. I don't see any size. Okay, so I don't understand that then, because okay, so sorry. I'm inspecting this H2, but I don't see any styles. If I show browser styles, font size is just 1.5 EM. But over here, I copied this. This is 2.5 rep. I'm confused about this. Shouldn't this have applied to all my H2s then? Did I never save it? I have an error. Oh. So it's just been like wrong this whole time? Shit. Okay, I don't know. No, but it was reading it because it had all this stuff. Right? Maybe not. I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it picks up that stuff. So that's a little weird to me, but yeah, like there's a lot going on in here. So I would need to do a lot of styling, you know, select a color palette, you know, set some like a broader overall content width and that kind of thing. And then I'd have to think about like, what if people want like these kinds of sections or like an events calendar, like what do those things look like? What do those look like in this theme? Because you're saying that this is like a theme targeted to like musical groups, right? Because that's my premise, is that this would be a theme that not only is strongly design opinionated, and like you could take that design and make it do whatever, but it is targeted to music groups. And so all the baseline content that essentially what is starter content is you know, showing stuff that a musical group would probably want. So a pull quote, right, with publicity and all that kind of stuff. So, oh, the social icons don't show if I don't put links. Is that what the deal is here? Hang on. I want to make sure these like look decent. I guess I'm just gonna leave these headings like super huge. No, reset. Okay, cool. Yeah, now it has. Oh, these are super cute, like by default. That's actually really promising that like you can have this by default and it's like a good experience, because that's what a lot of people want. Okay, yeah. So I feel like this actually is in a pretty reasonable place, like given what we've done. So I have essentially today, I said what I was going to do was learn about making a block-based theme, but it turns out that learning to make a block-based theme is using Full Site Editor as a page builder. At least for the way that I was thinking about building this theme. That's kind of cool. Like a totally raw page builder with like near zero styling decisions. And so then it's on me as the theme author to make those styling decisions. And I think it's actually really, oh, sorry, I'm like totally just in the wrong window. What I had done here is I just made it so that all of these social icons had a just something in the link so that they would actually show up, because they were not showing up. Nice. So yeah. As you can see, the HTML is pretty solid. There are some baseline styles that make it look like, get it closer to like what you think you want it to look like. And so then the next step is applying like the highly designed CSS, picking a color palette, getting all that stuff into that experimental theme JSON file, I think. Me figuring out why the typography styles don't actually seem to apply. And kind of taking it from there. So I can work on that next week on another stream. Right now I want to get off the computer. Like, go hang out. What does the Lighthouse tool say about the accessibility of that as it stands? How do I get to the Lighthouse tool? Oh, I have to open it in Chrome? Okay. I can. Hang on, let me open Chrome. One second. Oops. I don't want it to jump. Okay, so now what? Right-clicked, inspect. Ooh. This is what I get for not using Chrome as my primary. Lighthouse is warming up. Everybody on my stream is gonna learn something today. By everybody, I mean me. Kind of smarty pants I am. That looked real broken. Accessibility 100. Look at me. SEO 92. Best practices 87. Performance. Speed index bad. I don't care. This is my local And I'm streaming at the same time. Who frickin' knows? Content paint. Oh, my initial server response time was real bad. For static assets. Yeah, like who cares? This is my local. Accessibility. Wonderful. Not a single thing. Past audits. ARIA attributes. Match. I have headings, skip links, or landmark region. Sufficient contrast ratio, which is a little shocking to me. This is not good, but it has an image, so I guess it doesn't really know. It has a title. I have alt tags. I have alt attributes. Lists contain only li elements. This would not be true if I put anything else in that nav area. Don't worry, you can rewatch the stream. Once I end it, you'll be able to watch it on demand, and then I will also export them to YouTube. Yeah, I'm going to end in like just a couple minutes here. So once I end it, you'll be able to watch the whole thing on demand on Twitch, and then I'll work on exporting it, and then it'll be available on YouTube within like a couple hours, I think. What resource? Yeah, I just used the block editor handbook because that's where like a normal person would think to look. I don't want to be helped along with like everybody's special help. So everybody gives me special help, but if I was like a normal person, I would not have access to that. Okay, so some errors are logged to the console. I mean, like, great, whatever. There's some other issues. Okay, we can look at that. Then SEO, I don't have a meta description. Fine, whatever. So yeah, this passes. So I'm pretty happy about that, and I'm happy that like we landed on this. But yeah, no problem. I'm really, really glad people joined me today, because I feel like, obviously, like I genuinely would have done this myself, like completely on my own and whatever. But like it's a lot more fun to share it with people and like be able to talk through things out loud without feeling like, who am I talking to? Like this is rubber ducking, right? Except that your Twitch audience is your rubber duck. If you're not familiar with that term, they call it rubber ducking, where the idea is that like you put a rubber duck in front of you and you talk to it. But that by forcing yourself to describe something out loud, you do a better job of like fully understanding it yourself and exploring the details and the gotchas. Because sometimes if you're just thinking about it to yourself, it's really easy to just kind of skim over things or overlook them. And it's also a way, it's also like a thinking exercise. So a Twitch chat is also kind of just like, a rubber duck. So yeah, that's the next part. So hopefully next week, let me look at my calendar. This may be, looking at my calendar, this may be Monday actually. So Monday, what would be morning my time, but like post lunch East Coast US, or like right around lunchtime East Coast US. I think maybe that's the next part I'll do, is like messing with the CSS and the experimental theme file and that sort of stuff. Maybe looking at block patterns and whatnot. Yeah, I'll try to stream some more ahead of Wednesday's go no go. And just see how I'm feeling. I feel pretty good, and I think that again, like there are so many things that we can talk about in terms of really showing the best side and like what the promise is here. So like Carolina, like something I was talking about a while back, and you'll hear more of my thoughts on the stream, but I think if I think about the full site editor as like a tool for theme authors, in a lot of ways, where you use it as a page builder essentially to build out the structure of a theme. So what if on .org you had a theme creator? Like if you could just use the theme creator on WordPress.org, which is like the full site editor, and you can just create the layout, all the options, creating a palette, maybe like having a custom CSS panel that's like sanitized and all of that. And there was a library of images that you could use, maybe, the block library, the block pattern directory that they're working on, I learned today. And maybe even like something like a content directory, right? Where you could have like pre-vetted, not copyrighted bits of content that you could insert. And some basic scanning. So we could potentially bypass having a full theme review process if the theme that you're building falls within those constraints, right? Because there's no PHP involved, there's nothing executable, everything is just blocks and the content inside the blocks. And it essentially, the theme itself is like starter content essentially, right? And yeah, if that's all it is, then it doesn't need a whole theme review process. And you could like submit it right there. And I feel like that would be super cool. Or maybe the review process just becomes like somebody looks at it and is like, yeah, it looks fine, or you have themes that are like, maybe we rely more on a review system or like a crowdsourced review system where people like give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, like this looks good or this doesn't look good, right? There are lots of opportunities there, and I feel like if we talk about them more, not from an official project perspective, but like if people out there are willing to write about like what they think this could be like, I feel like that could be really cool. Oh, okay, great. Yeah. So we're all on the same page. I really do believe that. I think that we are all believing in the same thing about themes and where they're going. And so I'm just like, yeah, I'm super excited about it. What is the back-compat promise we're making? I do not know what the back-compat promise is. My understanding is that this is being shipped as the proposal is not being shipped. The proposal is to ship it as essentially a public beta. And so it would only be available with block-based themes, and there are very few block-based themes, right? One of my blockers currently is that whatever block-based theme or themes we ship or like recommend for use have to have a one-to-one preview. I think that if we don't have that, it just like we're just gonna make people think that it sucks. Because without the one-to-one preview, it just feels like another save and surprise scenario, and I don't want that. So yeah, all right, I'm gonna head off, and then you can rewatch the stream on demand. Yeah, this was fun. I really enjoyed like figuring all this stuff out, and just again, this is all just core blocks, making all of this happen. So I think that's pretty sweet. Yeah, have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll try to be back on Monday, and if not Monday, it'll be Tuesday. For sure, because it has to be ahead of Wednesday. So see you then. Bye, everybody.